welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Today we're looking at day 2 of this article called Sydney Sweeney from Small Town Dreamer to Hollywood Star. So we learned a lot about Sydney Sweeney last time. We talked about how she is from the town of Spokane, Washington, which is, I guess, not so small as you've said.
Not really.
But it is also where Sam is from. And so when she was growing up, she played lots of sports, from football to taekwondo to skiing. And she kind of had to choose between that and acting at times because she discovered she was interested in acting when she was an extra for a local production.
Yes, and I will say, again, I have a few problems with this title. Again, the one is the small town, because Spokane's not really that small. But the other thing is that this idea of a dreamer. Now, I think that this almost takes away a little bit from how much hard work it sounds like Sydney Sweeney put into getting to where she is now. Mm-hmm. You know, if you are a dreamer, that's great, but that kind of has the idea of like, oh, I wish. But she didn't seem to be more of a I wish kind of person. She sat down, she made a plan, she did taekwondo, she did sports, she made sure that she could do all kinds of different things and have a backup like, oh, if I don't make it in Hollywood, maybe I could be in taekwondo or do something in this way.
Mixed martial arts.
Yeah, so I don't think it's really necessarily fair to just say that she was a dreamer, because it really looks like she put in the work and said, I want to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do all of the steps that I need to get where I want to be.
Okay. Well, today we're going to learn about how that has played out for her, the results of her hard work in today's article.
It was her part in Euphoria that led to award nominations and truly introduced Sydney Sweeney to a global audience. She built her reputation even more by starring in The White Lotus and films like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Reality, and the romantic comedy Anyone But You. These projects showed her acting range in both serious dramas and lighter, entertaining stories. What sets Sydney Sweeney apart is her involvement behind the camera. In 2020, she founded her own production company, 50/50 Films, which has allowed her to take control of her work even further. Her dedication and willingness to accept challenges present a strong picture of success in this highly demanding field.
Hello there. Today we are looking at day 2 of our article, Sydney Sweeney from Small Town Dreamer to Hollywood Star.
Yes, all right. So we have already kind of learned a little bit about her background and how she was in a couple smaller roles and then she kind of got a couple bigger roles. But now we're going to start to look at some of the ones that are really that kind of put her in a more focal spot and people actually know who she is. And so we read, it says, it was her part in Euphoria that led to award nominations and truly introduced Sydney Sweeney to a global audience. So she probably had some kind of audience before, but she really had kind of a smaller role in all of those TV shows before. But this TV show, Euphoria, actually made it so that she was nominated for awards. That's when people started to really pay attention.
She built her reputation even more by starring in The White Lotus and films like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Reality, and the romantic comedy Anyone But You. Okay, so she built her reputation by doing these films, by doing more and more films. Now, someone's reputation is the opinions or thoughts that everyone else has about something. So generally, what everyone thinks about someone or something is that person or thing's reputation. So for example, Jude has a reputation for being kind and honest.
Yes, and so we see, now we're talking about these few shows that she just did. It says these projects showed her acting range in both serious dramas and lighter entertaining stories. So again, if you have a very small part on a TV show, you might not be able to really show very much of your acting skills. But if you have a bigger role, you can kind of go from being more serious to silly and have kind of a range of things that you might do in that TV show. And so we had this word, this adjective entertaining. If something is entertaining, it is just amusing or keeps your attention. So if you're watching an entertaining movie, then that is probably good because you'll want to keep watching it. If it is not entertaining, that means it's not keeping your attention, it's not amusing, it's not giving you some kind of enjoyment in some way, then you will probably turn it off. So our example sentence is, the story was entertaining, so everyone gave it their full attention. Everyone was paying attention because it was so entertaining. If it weren't, you would see people kind of like whispering or talking or just not really watching or on their phone. Okay, so that is the definition of entertaining.
All right, let's go to Hanny.Hello，
大家好，我是 Hanny。今天要继续介绍好莱坞知名演员 Sydney Sweeney。课文提到说，正是在高校18禁中的演出，为他赢得了奖项提名，并真正让他跃上国际舞台。好，这边用到一个文法重点是分列句的用法，要强调句子里的主词、受词、时间副词或地方副词时，我们可以用分列句表示。那句型是It is 或是 it was 加上强调的部分，加 that 再加句子其余的部分。例如 He became interested in photography in college。现在用分列句来强调 in college， 那句子就会写作 It was in college that he became interested in photography。正是在大学的时候，他对摄影产生了兴趣。补充一下，如果强调的是时间或是人 ，that 可以改用 when 或者是 who。例如 It was Sarah who told him the secret, not me. 是 Sarah 把秘密告诉他的，不是我啦。好，那我们回到课文，他说 Sydney Sweeney 透过主演《白莲花大饭店》以及从前有个好莱坞等等的电影，进一步奠定他的名声，展现他多元演技。无论是严肃的戏剧，或者是比较轻松娱乐的故事，他都能胜任。好，单字 reputation 名词，它表示名声、声望。Entertaining 它是形容有娱乐性的、有趣的、令人愉快的。补充一下 ，Sam 老师在聊到担任要角时，有用到一个形容词 focal， 它是形容中心的、重要的。那接回课文中。
All right, thanks, Hanny.What sets Sydney Sweeney apart is her involvement behind the camera.
Okay, so not just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. So it says, in 2020, she founded her own production company, 50/50 Films, which has allowed her to take control of her work even further. So now she might have control over the types of movies she makes and control over how she makes them and who's in the movie and all kinds of stuff that she probably didn't have any control of before.
Her dedication and willingness to accept challenges present a strong picture of success in this highly demanding field. Okay, so this demanding field is the acting field or the film production field as well. Something that is demanding means it requires great skill or great effort to do. It means something is very difficult. Not everyone could do it because you need to have something special about you to do something that is very demanding. An example sentence, Miss Muller has a demanding schedule during the school year.
Yes, okay, so we see that she has kind of taken a little bit more control of her career by creating her own production company. All right, let's go ahead and go over to Hanny.
课文提到，在2020年 ，Sydney Sweeney 创立了自己的制作公司，这让他可以进一步掌控自己的工作。那他的投入以及勇于迎接挑战，就充分展现了在这个要求极高、竞争很激烈的领域里面成功所有的样子。好，那我们看单字 demanding， 它可以形容要求高的、费时费力的。那我们接回课文中。
Okay, thank you, Hanny. Okay, today we've learned more about Sydney Sweeney, but we still have a little bit more to go when we come back for the second part of this article.
Outside her professional life, Sweeney has a passion for restoring vintage vehicles, including a Ford Bronco she rebuilt herself. She even took to social media to share the process of fixing transmissions and tuning engines with her fans. Sydney Sweeney's story is still being written. At 28 years old, she's already producing her own films and choosing roles that push her limits. That ambitious girl from Spokane has become one of Hollywood's most sought-after young stars, even if doing so took a little longer than 5 years.
All right, and we are back, so we're continuing to learn more about Sydney Sweeney.
All right, so it says, outside her professional life, Sweeney has a passion for restoring vintage vehicles, including a Ford Bronco she rebuilt herself. All right, so this is again showing us something that we probably already kind of know, since when she was younger, it seemed like she had many, many different interests, and now it's talking a little bit outside of her professional life. So professional, the adjective here, is being used to talk about relating to her career. So your professional life is the life that is surrounded by your career, your job, what you do for a living, what you make money in. That would be your professional life. And our example sentence says, my sister's dream is to be a professional pilot. Now that might look a little bit weird to you, because you might think, well, if you're a pilot, you're already making money in that and that is your career. But you could be an amateur pilot, which is somebody who just enjoys planes and enjoys flying and has learned to fly on their own, but maybe isn't somebody who is making money in it. You're not transporting customers or transporting cargo, you're just going up and flying by yourself. That would be the opposite of a professional pilot.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things she does outside of her professional life is to restore cars. So to restore something means to bring it back to its former or original state. So when you are restoring something like a car, you'll want to fix everything that might be broken in the car, to take off all of the rust and repaint it to make it look like a brand new car again. So an example sentence, we plan to restore this old wooden clock. Right, back to our article. She even took to social media to share the process of fixing transmissions and tuning engines with her fans.
Whoa, that's kind of cool, because that might get other people interested in something that they might not know that they were interested in. So now they're like, oh, I never thought about restoring cars or working on cars, but they might have found an interest just because they were a fan of hers from something else. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's go ahead and go over to Hanny.
在职场外工作之余 ，Sydney Sweeney 她还热衷于修复古董车。她甚至在社群媒体上面跟粉丝分享修理变速箱啊，还有调教引擎的过程。那么单字 professional 它是形容职业的、专业的。补充一下 ，amateur 则是形容业余的、业余爱好的。那么 restore 这个动词表示修复、恢复。好，那这边有一个重点。Take two 的不同意思 ，Take two 之后可以接名词或动名词。那来看几个常见用法。第一个是可以表达开始使用或投入，像投入某个平台啊、媒介。例如 ，My cousin recently took to Threads to share her thoughts。我表妹最近开始在 Threads 上分享她的想法。第二个 take to 可以表达开始喜欢。例如 ，He tried snowboarding and took to it immediately。他尝试了单板滑雪，立刻就爱上这项运动。那第三个可以表达开始从事什么，养成什么样的习惯。例如 ，Greg has taken to getting up at 5 and going jogging。Greg 养成了5点起床慢跑的习惯。好，那我们接回课文中。
Okay, thank you, Hanny. So we are going to continue with our article now, and it says, Sydney Sweeney's story is still being written. At 28 years old, she's already producing her own films and choosing roles that push her limits. So again, since she has her own production company, she can kind of choose what she wants to do.
Okay, that's pretty impressive to have already started her own production company. She's not just being an actress anymore. She's now actually making films. That ambitious girl from Spokane has become one of Hollywood's most sought-after young stars, even if doing so took a little longer than 5 years.
Yes, and so this is kind of a reminder of before. She said, I've got a 5-year plan, I'm going to work on this. So it might have taken a little bit longer, but she didn't give up because she was very ambitious. Ambitious, this adjective just means that you want to succeed. You want to get to your goals. So you're setting goals and you're working hard to make that happen. If you have ambition, you have a purpose or a drive that pushes you to get to where you want to be. People who are not ambitious might be totally fine just kind of, going through life, working whatever job and just continuing on, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but they don't really have that drive to get to the highest level of their career or to really study something. They're just content to be kind of just how things are. So an example sentence is, Hannah has an ambitious plan to start her own business.
Okay, time to check in with Hanny.
课文最后提到 Sydney Sweeney 年仅28岁，已经开始制作自己的电影了，并选择能够突破自我极限的角色。这个充满雄心壮志的女孩，现在已经是好莱坞最炙手可热的年轻巨星之一了。我们看看单字 ambitious， 它可以形容有野心的、有企图心的、有抱负的。它的名词 ambition 就可以表达野心、抱负或雄心壮志。那我们接话课文中。
All right, we're back and we have a what do you think question. So, do you think it's important for actors to be involved in film production?
So I would say that if an actor is choosing to be involved in the production side of it, it has to be because they actually are interested and want to be in it. Because I feel like it's very easy when you are an actor and you've got that much money, you could probably start any company or any business that you wanted. But that might not necessarily be a good thing because maybe that you don't actually have the skills to be a producer, because I think it's a different skill set. So I feel like if everybody that is an actor decides to be in the production side of it as well, we might get way more movies and TV shows that maybe don't have the level of expertise as we might have if it's left to the people who studied and learned to be in those roles.
Wow, but there's so many streaming services now, there's lots of places to put those bad movies.
True. That is true.
All right, well, it's time for us to go, so let's review the article again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
It was her part in Euphoria that led to award nominations and truly introduced Sydney Sweeney to a global audience. She built her reputation even more by starring in The White Lotus and films like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Reality, and the romantic comedy Anyone But You. These projects showed her acting range in both serious dramas and lighter, entertaining stories. What sets Sydney Sweeney apart is her involvement behind the camera. In 2020, she founded her own production company, 50/50 Films, which has allowed her to take control of her work even further. Her dedication and willingness to accept challenges present a strong picture of success in this highly demanding field. Outside her professional life, Sweeney has a passion for restoring vintage vehicles, including a Ford Bronco she rebuilt herself. She even took to social media to share the process of fixing transmissions and tuning engines with her fans. Sydney Sweeney's story is still being written. At 28 years old, she's already producing her own films and choosing roles that push her limits. That ambitious girl from Spokane has become one of Hollywood's most sought-after young stars, even if doing so took a little longer than 5 years.
最后我们来复习今天课文里的单字文法。单字的部分有 reputation 名词，表示名声声望。 entertaining 它是形容有娱乐性的、有趣的、令人愉快的。 demanding 它可以形容要求高的、费时费力的。 professional 是形容职业的、专业的。 restore 这个动词则表示修复、恢复。 ambitious 可以形容有野心的、有企图心的、有抱负的。文法的部分，第一个学到分列句的用法，那它的句型是 it is 或 it was 加上强调部分，加 that 再加句子其余部分。第二个我们学到 take to 的不同意思，它可以指开始使用或投入某个平台媒介，也可以指开始喜欢什么什么，还可以表达开始从事什么，养成怎么样的习惯。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
And there you go.
Whoa, you make that look so easy. I've been stuck on this for hours.
Actually, if you just follow the template, it's like duck soup. Plus, I've done it like 1,000 times before.
Duck soup? You mean soup with duck in it?
No, duck soup just means something that's like super easy to do.
Oh, I see. So if I follow the steps and keep at it, it won't seem so challenging over time. Hello everyone, today's phrase is duck soup.
That's right. And as you saw in the skit, it usually doesn't mean actual soup with duck in it.
Instead, it's used to describe something that's easy and takes little effort to do.
It usually refers to tasks that are genuinely simple or things that have become easy with experience.
Here's an example sentence. Fixing this computer problem was duck soup for the tech expert.
Or, after all his training, winning the basketball game will be duck soup for him.
So, with enough practice or experience, anything can become duck soup for you, no matter how difficult it seemed at first.
That's right. And that is all for today.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.